Hey, what is happening? Let's get this hair acting right. These curls are just way wild. Way wild. But that's what happens when you get two different kinds of hair in your head. So we are going to talk about taking responsibility back. Stop being a victim and let's take some responsibility. How about that? While we do that, we're going to see if I can get myself looking like Whitney Houston again. At least that's what I've been told. So whenever I wear this kind of hairstyle. So let's see if we can put a little something, a little bit of glam on this face and bring our Whitney back. So I am going to spray. Sorry, I'm always picking at myself whenever I come on the live. But I have this new apparatus to hold my, hey, how are you? Say hello when you come on. When you're popping on, say hello. We're going to be talking some things here. It's going to get a little serious, I think. But I think we all need to hear it every now and then, even for ourselves. So make sure you invite a friend, others to come in and watch. And if you haven't already done so, go ahead and push this video out to others. And if you're not following me, you're new to me, up here at the top, there's 3 dots. Press on the dots and follow me and then hit the notifications so you can be notified when I'm on the live. So let's start with the first base spray. And why am I doing this? Well, if you came on this page, you should know that I am, or my name is, Naja Root, obviously by the post. And I am a beauty guide with Limelight by Alcone Skincare Makeup. But today, and most days I do makeup tutorials, and I aspire to empower women that are within my age group, even some younger, some older, to understand their worth and know their worth and know where they stand and who they are and whose they are. And by doing so, that's why I like to bring some topics of conversation to my lives, and so that we can discuss and maybe be empowered and encourage one another. So this is not just for me. It is for me, but hopefully it's for someone else out there. And for whatever reason, it was given to me to share today. And it kind of was inspired by a podcast that I saw, where I'm like, you know what, that is so true. And sometimes we are so ready to talk ourselves down. Ooh, okay. Sometimes we're so ready to talk ourselves out of things, talk ourselves down from things, because either we've never seen anybody in our families experience certain things, or we don't think that we can get it or accomplish it because they didn't accomplish it. So, and even like I'm a school teacher as well, by the way. And so as a school teacher, you know, we're more than just teachers of content, more than teachers of mathematics or teachers of science or teachers of reading. We are a jack of all trades, and maybe not so much a master of those things, but we definitely have dabble in different areas, and some of us can become experts in those areas. Hey Patsy, how are you? Welcome. Hey Kimberly, welcome. Good to see you. Thank you for coming on. You saw in the comments, please go ahead and push this out, you know, make it have wings and let it fly. And so this topic can be a little sensitive and can be a little harsh and can be a little bit gets hurtful for some people, because it really is going to require us to look deeply at ourselves. And the reason is making all this noise with these products. We all have experienced some kind of hurt, some kind of disappointments in our life. And those are the things that should make us stronger, that should make us even push harder. But a lot of times it's debilitating. It debilitates us, and then we stop right in our tracks and we just don't do anything. So, excuse me, but I put on a little something on my lips because they feel a little dry. These are our lip glosses. It has a little bling on the end and a mirror on one side. That's the old version. The newer model looks like this. At least this is our spring release that we had last year. So they're in this cylindrical shaped tubing, and this one was some more rectangular shape, and it has the mirror on the side, but they both have the bling. And so I lost track where I was going with that when I was talking. I lost track of what I was saying. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and first off start with my eyebrows. I always tend to start with my eyebrows first as I start my tutorial, and I'm going to spray my setting spray into this cap. So the challenge is for you to stay on and to stay on to the end of the live and see if you're going to be an active participant and if you're going to comment, like I said, and be an active participant. And you don't have to, but it would be great. I really do appreciate it, because it definitely helps. Excuse me, that's my voice there. It definitely helps the communication and all that. So I really do appreciate that when people do share and they speak and they type different comments and things. So if you are watching me live right now, you are live. Drop a heart in the comments, please. A heart in the comments to show that you are on live right now. And for anyone that's watching and comes on at this point, you're more likely going to be ended up watching the replay. Please drop a 2 in the comments or do a hashtag replay. That'll work as well. I appreciate it so much. So I am drawing my eyebrows. Yesterday, not yesterday. Yesterday, I didn't come on live. I was planning on it like I do every day, but I didn't decide not to just because I was in the middle of some training for school. Like I said, I'm a school teacher. I was in the middle of training for some school subjects and school professional development. And I was all in it, and I didn't want to stop at the time when I finally got a good go on it. So I'm like, I'm going to have to just forego the live tonight. But I did post another video, to keep things fresh. And it was a video that came up as a memory from a previous year, from the year before. So I thought it was very fitting, considering. So I went ahead and played that instead. Thank you for the heart, Kimberly, as always. Appreciate it, girl. Hope you're doing good today. What is happening on your neck of the woods, or in your neck of the woods? So, and Kimberly always pushes the lives out and welcomes others to come on and be a part of it. So thank you, Kimberly, for that, and those others that will come on and watch. Yes. And then there are people that watch in the background, and that's okay, but I would really love to say hello to you and know who you are. And it's just one of those things where the more the merrier, and the more exposure, so we can get the word out to more people, right? It's all about empowering others. So we don't want to take information and keep it to ourselves. We want to take it and share it with the rest of the world. So I'm just drawing my brows just real quick before I keep going. How are you? I'm just eating lunch. Okay. Oh, you know what? It's probably closer to 1 o'clock, right? It's getting close to 1 o'clock. That's about the time I'm going to have to eat lunch, because I ate breakfast pretty late. So 1 o'clock is going to be somewhere near, or after I get off the live will be my lunchtime. And so I've been eating, well, this is kind of wide compared to this side, right? It's a little thinner and this is a little wider, but I'll fix that. I've been eating cleaner lately, so I have been on a mission, because I noticed that I did kind of put on a little bit of pounds, and it's not my usual, it's not what I like to see myself as. So I went ahead and started doing a little more cleaner eating, and I've noticed a difference already. So, and I'm thankful for that, because my husband bought a new scale, because he also has started working out more. He hasn't been as consistent as I have been, but he started, which is a great thing. Once the thing is to start. Once you start, everything else will follow. But it is hard to just get ourselves out there, and once we do, and I know once I do, I'm committed, to going the full distance. But it's just hard. It's really hard to start. But I commend you for trying. So, okay, let's go ahead and clean this up while we start the conversation here. So, like I said, I was watching this gold cast. It's called a gold cast on a gentleman who happened to be a military man. His name is David Goggins, and you might have even seen my post. But he spoke about the fact that everybody looks at him as being the toughest man on earth, or the world's toughest man. And so with that, everybody thinks, they might assume he has no problems. What are you eating for lunch, by the way? People might assume he has no problems. But he came out and said he needs to tell the truth. And of course, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, did he use some steroids or something when he was doing all his competing and all his training? Because that's one thing that happens a lot of time and comes out. The people are taking steroids, and then they have an extra sense of strength by doing that. So it gives them an advantage to the people that they're competing against. But that's not the case. He said that, everybody looks to him and assumes that his life is perfect, that he has it all together. Like most people will think that all of us have it all together, but we don't. I mean, if you're living on this earth and on this world, you don't have it all together. I think the only woman, and And I haven't read up on her story. I bet you that if I read up on her story, I'll find a lot of different things about her life that maybe a lot of us didn't even know, that I myself didn't know. And I'm talking about Mother Teresa. You know, she was, you know, considered a saint, you know, pretty much. So, I mean, this woman lived a life that was just so impeccable and so so honorable, you know, and she did so much good. But I'm sure even her, she had a story background to tell, right? You know, her story wasn't always all roses and flowers, you know, flowers and roses and flowers and candy, I guess. And not to discredit her in any way, that's not what I'm doing by saying that. I'm just saying that by any means, by no means is anyone perfect or had a perfect life. At some point or other, there might have been something in her past, and then maybe there wasn't. I mean, there could just be that situation where there's somebody that has never had any trouble or trials or faced any adversity or anything, but she had a heart of gold, a pure heart that she just wanted to help people all over, and she's just a blessed woman, and an anointed woman, I would say. Just to have that kind of influence, and just to have that kind of discipline, especially. So, and how many of us can say that we have that kind of discipline, like Mother Teresa kind of discipline? I know I can't. I mean, like I said, we all struggle with something. We all go through something in our life. It's just one of those things where we have to fight through it. So I wanted to share part of what he was sharing in his podcast, as well as, you know, Will Smith also said something that I think was very, very telling, very impactful, where it says, you know, fault and responsibility do not go together. Excuse me, sorry, I got a belch. Excuse me. He also said that admitting responsibility or taking responsibility is not an admission of guilt, but a recognition of the power that you're seizing to stop blaming others. Stop blaming other people, right? So that's one of the things that I recently also got heard from, that Will Smith has quoted as saying, you know, and it's true. I mean, just because you take responsibility for something doesn't mean that you are actually the one that's at fault or guilty. You know, like the guy said, Mr. Coggins, what he said was that everybody may look at him like he's perfect and whatnot, and he works hard and he's built his body. He actually got to 300 pounds, like 100 and what, I think 70 something to 300 pounds. Oops, that's the wrong brush. And so he said he had to fight for what he wanted, because he came from a background of a father that was abusive towards his mother. He said, and after he came in and tried to protect his mom, the dad hauled off and beat him up. He said he was bruised up from the neck down. And he said the next day the mom went in to check on him, because she was already beat down herself. But the next day she went in to check on him, and he was all bruised up. And that day, that's when the mom decided, you know what, we got to get out. And, you know, sometimes we women more so than men, a lot of times we stay in relationships because we either feel like we have nothing else, nowhere else to go, and nobody's going to want us or love us or whatnot. But that's because we haven't learned how to love ourselves first. We haven't learned how to love ourselves through the situations that we have faced. So, you know, a lot of times, like, we watch things happen in our lives and we say, that's not going to be me. I'm not going to let that happen to me, or let that happen to my kids, you know, because we knew and we experienced certain things and we decided that's not going to be my child's life, right? So then we make those decisions and we build on that. We build our life based on those promises we make to ourselves, so to speak. Fix this real quick. I hope I don't have to go get my charger, but if I do, I'll let you know if I got to step out real quick. It's in the other room. I had like 40-something% when I started the live, and I brought the cord down here with me, but I left it in the other room in my laptop case because I was doing some more training. I still have one more set of trainings to do, and I'll be done, I think, you know. But then when I go back to school next week, Thursday, Friday, that's when we're also going to have more in-service type things, but that's fine because at least I'll be on official duty. Now, right now, you know, we're doing some prep kind of classes and training and stuff like that prior to going back to school, so we don't have more stuff to catch up on when we start, because it's already going to be a challenge as it is with starting back virtual. And that's, you know, everybody's concern is how's everything going to look virtual. And I'm one of those people that I don't want to be struggling to get started, and especially having a new grade level and having a new content that I'm going to be teaching. I don't want to be battling with that at the same time trying to establish my classroom and my instruction and all that stuff. So I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and take care of this now. So I was up pretty late last night, pretty much about 1 o'clock or so. Part of that was not because of the training. Part of that was me trying to just kind of calm down from the day, the hype of training. So then I started looking around Facebook, of course, and then I didn't get to bed till about 1 o'clock. Can't do that too much longer. Can't do that too much more after this week, I'll tell you that, with school starting back. But anyhow, how many of you can raise your hand figuratively? And if you want to say in the comments, you want to say me, that's fine too. But how many of us have dealt with something that was traumatic in our life, or dealt with someone that hurt us? Okay, so it's not. So let me say this, and that's one of the things that that it's always been said, and it's another thing that was reiterated by the podcast that I was listening to, is that you are not responsible or at fault for what your parents did. If your parent was an alcoholic, if your parent was an abuser, if your parent was a liar or a thief, for example, and you had to witness that, or you were included in their actions when they would do their activities, if you were there to witness any of that, you witnessed it, but it's not your fault. It's not your fault, right? Or even if your partner cheated on you, that's not your fault either. I mean, because people make choices, and they make their choices, and like they said, you make your bed, you lie in it. And so they made their bed, they made their choices, and those are not our faults. Those are not your faults or my fault. But what it is our responsibility to be happy. It's our own responsibility to seek our own joy. But don't be locked. Don't be landlocked in feeling like you're a victim. Don't sit in your own little island and be the victim. Step out of that into your own joy, your own fulfillment and happy. And how do you find that fulfillment? You first got to know who you are. You got to recognize who you are and where you want to go. What do you want for yourself? If you don't know yet what you want for yourself, or what you desire to be, or what you aspire to become, then start seeking God for guidance. If you are a believer, start seeking or asking God for guidance. Or even if you're not a believer, why not? Take a chance. What's it going to hurt, right? You tried everything else. Now try God, right? And so try and see. I may not make any friends by saying this, because maybe people that are watching me may not be interested in the Christian aspect of life. But that's my background, and that's where I'm coming from. So I'm not going to hide, because the Bible does say, you deny before men, I will deny you before my Father, right? So I'm not going to deny Christ at any time, anywhere. So I say that to say, a lot of times people, whenever we're going through things, we try God last instead of trying God first. So how about you give it to God? Seek him out. Sometimes it might just be a decision, right? It's a choice. Kimberly says, me. I hear you, girl. Me too. It's a choice. It's a choice to do. And I forgot to drop my link in here as well, just so if anybody wants to know or see what I'm working with, you can always go to my link and kind of peruse the website for things that you might have need of or have interest in. If you have questions, please reach out to me, and I would love to answer your questions for you, or help you answer whatever concerns you have. So anyway, so as I was saying, we need to stop playing the victim or being the victim. We need to start looking at others and what they were going to do for us, or how they could provide for us, and then start looking at providing for ourselves. And that was the hardest thing for me initially too, when I first married my husband, because I was so independent. Come on now, I was 20? No, that was when I had my daughter. I think it was 31, 30, somewhere around there when I had my husband. I got to do the math. I can't think of the math right now in my head that fast. But, excuse me, there I go again, belching. Excuse me. So, I met him, and I had my daughter. I was already, born again and Christian and all that. And so I knew that men are the head of the home, but still I was finding it very difficult to allow some things to be as they should, because I was already haven't been independent for the time that I've had my daughter, and I was, single parent. So I was used to, I was her protector, her provider. I was her everything. So, and then here comes this man, and yes, he loves me and he loves my daughter and all that stuff. But it's hard sometimes to just allow someone to just come in and then start telling telling your child what to do, even though you know this is like her dad now, right? So it's like, it's silly for you to sit there and think, oh, you know, it's like you came into the relationship already expecting that you weren't going to allow certain things. So we have to get out of that mindset, and we got to remember, if we marry the man, we love them enough, then we got to trust them, right? Until they prove us differently, prove us wrong. So anyway, so then I finally let go of that control and allow him to be the dad to her that he's supposed to be, and everything just started to just flourish. But I was the one that was hindering it, and it was causing a little bit of friction. They say the first 3 years of marriage are the toughest, and they are. Oh my God, are they? And people say that, and you think when you get married, you think, oh, it's gonna be all roses and candy canes or whatever. I'm just making up stuff. It can be all what's the saying? What they say? You think it's gonna be all rosy, right? Hey, Les, how are you? Welcome, girl. Say hello. Don't forget to hit the invite button and push this out to other people, and then help them to come out and enjoy this live. And like I said, if you're watching live right now, please go ahead and drop a heart in the comments, which you already did. You dropped 3 of them. Bum, bum, bum. So thank you very much. So as we were saying, so then I started to let go, and I allowed my husband to be her dad, to literally be her dad, and not be thinking that, oh, he can't punish her. He can't pop her. He can't, let him do what he's supposed to do as a man, and because a lot of times, the men are the ones that have more of a disciplined grasp on the children, even though some of us women are disciplinarians, and I felt I was a disciplinarian, but there's always something about a man that children listen to more than they will a woman. But regardless, we have to work together, and we have to work in concert. And when we work in concert, things work out better. But when we work against each other, we're always going to have that friction. We're always going to be fighting against the grain. And then we're always going to be trying to, swimming uphill, and you're going to get pushed. The current's going to push you back down. So we got to know, where we stand and how to make the best out of the situation and not make it worse. So anyway, I said, we're not going to be a victim. Going back to the subject at hand, we're not going to allow ourselves to be victimized. We're not allow ourselves to sit there and be landlocked. We don't need to continue in our suffering. Okay, recognize your suffering, yes. And we all go through it. Even when I get down on myself, but you have to know how to pick yourself up. Don't stay down. Okay, figure out, why am I feeling this way? What's causing me to react this way? What's causing me to be this upset? And then talk it out. Whether you need to yell at God, or you need to just pray about it out loud and talk to God like you talk to one of your friends, or if you need to go talk to your friends. But it's also saying, it says, talk to God before you talk to God about your friend before you talk to your friend about God, right? Or whatever the situation is, because he's going to give you that counsel, and mind you, he's going to give you peace and that calm that you need. Thank you, Les. That calm that you need to handle the situation in the best way possible, because our emotions will get the best of us, and emotions gets us all the time. No matter what, even the things that are going on in the world right now, our emotions are heightened. Our emotions will cause us to react and say things and do things that we won't otherwise do had we had the time to logically think it through, process it, and then figure out what is the best response to this, rather than acting out of emotion, right? Because emotions are fleeting. They're here 1 minute, gone the next. So, but what is lasting? Think it through, process it, then go take your stand, right? So we have to take our power back. That's in essence where I was going with a lot of this. So before I do my eye, I'm going to actually do my eyes, and I'm going to put my eyeshadow on my lid, and I'm just going to go with my all-time fave, which is this Eternal Flame right here. And I do have this brown, so I might just add a little hint of this, the red rather, on there as well. So, and you saw that I put the concealer, yeah, that was right, the concealer on it. But I'm going to actually use a different color real quick before we continue with our conversation. And if you have any comments to make, please make them. This is not just a one-sided thing, although I am the one projecting, and you can only see me. But definitely it's not a one-sided conversation. I really would invite your comments. If you yourself have been victimized or felt victimized by a certain situation in your life, what was it, and how did you overcome it? That's how we help each other in this mode here. How do we help each other? How can we help each other see past our hurts and our victim mentality, because that's where we get mostly, we're debilitated by feeling, hearing or feeling our victim mentality, and then not just feeling it. It's all right. I mean, you feel well however you feel. You have your right to your feelings and emotions, but then how do you respond to them? Are you going to stay in that slump, or are you going to push yourself out of it? And sometimes we wait for someone to pull us up and out of it, but it's not their job. I mean, it'd be nice if somebody was there and somebody usually is there in our corner, and that's the best thing you can ever have. Make sure you have somebody in your corner. But spiritually, you have God. Physically, you have other people, friends and family, and if somebody you can go to and approach with whatever you have going on, if you want to share with them and they can help you through and out of that, then that's good too. But don't put your trust and faith completely all in man. Man will disappoint you. Okay, I will disappoint you. Your neighbor will disappoint you. Your sister, your mother, like I said, your mother, your parents, period. Your siblings, your best friend, you never would have ever crossed each other. They could disappoint you. Why? Because we're in this flesh. We're in the flesh. We're not spiritual beings. We're in the flesh. We're trying to get there, but we're in the flesh. And I got something in my eye. And lots of times, we lie to ourselves because we don't want to feel the hurt. We don't want to feel the pain. So we sit there and we lie to ourselves. Ow, 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 ow. Okay, now going in with this other color. And this is the brown. I'm going to put it kind of more in the middle, in the center. And I'm going to probably put the other color more on the outside. If I'm even going to do that. Because I think the other color that I put on in the background, the transition color, is already, standing up pretty good. And it kind of blends in with the shirt that I'm wearing, the blouse that I'm wearing. So that was pretty good right there. Like I said, I'm just going to dab some of this on here because it's one of my faves colors, this Eternal Flame. And it's, like I said, kind of blending in. If I were to put a little bit more concealer underneath it, it'll pop it out. But I'm just kind of putting it right here in the center. And I'm going to clean this baby out, this brush out, and then I'm going to go in with the Raspberry Beret, which is more of that burgundy red color. Okay, so I'm going to go with that color now on the outside of the eye. Where am I going, you might ask? Absolutely nowhere. Although I do need to make a run, though. Anywho, back to our conversation again. We cannot allow ourselves to sit around and feel and be victims. We got to get up. We got to rise up above our circumstance and our situation. And we got to show ourselves first that we can rise above it. No matter how painful or how sad. I mean, and I'm not saying that your pain and your hurt are not valid or credible, because that is your pain. You are entitled to your pain. I will never tell you and take that from you or anyone else. I'm just saying we, as a people, period, lots of times we allow ourselves to stay down, stay in that dump. And we got, I love you, mamacita. God never fails. Amen to that. He will never fail you. As long as we continue to keep our eyes on the prize, and we know the price we're trying to get to as Christian people, we're trying to go to heaven. So as long as we continue to act in regards to how we want to end our time here on earth and where we want to go once we leave this earth, then, we will surely get that crown. Right? But it's like every day you got to die to self. And that's like the situations that we're facing. Every day you got to forgive. Every day you got to, die to whatever it is that you felt you did wrong yesterday. Don't sit in it. Even if you felt like you did wrong, don't sit in it. Don't stew in it. Get up. Get up and say, okay, forgive yourself. Forgive. That's paramount. And all this conversation that we're having, that I'm sharing with you today, that is the most paramount thing. You have to learn. We have to learn how to forgive. If we don't know how to forgive, we'll continue to perpetuate and continue to go and circle around the same issues, the same problems over and over again in our life. If we don't forgive, forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It just means that you are accepting that this happened. And you're willing to take your power back and say, okay, it happened. Now let's go. Let's pick up our big girl, put on big girl panties, pick up our rucksack or backpacks, whatever, and put some new tools in there. Put some new tools in there, and let's get going. Let's keep pushing forward. Because somebody, a lot of times, and I've learned and I've come to find in my own life that the experiences that I've had were not just for me. How many can say that happened with you? How many can say that's the same situation with you? What have you gone through that in the end, you realize it was for somebody else. Somebody else benefited from it. You went through it, but somebody else benefited from it as well. How many can say that? I know I can. You know, and so we, or they say, God is overcome by the word of our testimony, because He is overcome by the word of our testimony, because we speak to those things that we have experienced and that we have had success over. And then when we speak it out and we talk it out, even if you're just a little bit out of out of the woods, out of that fire, even if you're just a hair, doesn't matter. Speak it out, talk it out. You know, shout it from the rooftop. Thank God for it in the middle of it all, because when we're full of gratitude, and it's humble and genuine, you know, God will recognize that. He'll see that, and He knows that we meant exactly what we said. You know, one person you can't hide from is God, right? You can't hide from God in any way, form, or fashion. So you might as well just give it up, right? Many people try to steal or rob or do whatever or lie, but guess what? God already knows. God already seen everything we've done. You know, we're just lying to ourselves, you know, right? So, in our own situation, in our own experiences, sorry, I'm trying to blend here and trying to talk and blend at the same time. It ain't working. Let me just blend this here. I love this brush. This is brush number 7, is it? Yeah. Brush number 7 is a blender brush. And it's so soft, and it just goes on nice and smooth. I don't know. It's the best brush I've ever had in my life. The best makeup brush ever, hands down. And then to think that I really haven't had a whole lot of experience with brushes, but the brushes that I have used, that's definitely hands down the best. Number one in my book for sure. So we got the brows done, although that one is a little thick on that side. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not going to mess with it. I am not going to mess with it. I'm going to go ahead and go on to our blender full with our foundation, which is MB6. And I used concealer number 5 over here. That's what I used to clean up the eyebrows and to, what do you call it? To prime my my lids for my eyeshadows. So I'm going to pat with the concealer. Now I'm losing my words, with the foundation, and I'm just going to pack in here like this, because then after that I'm going to start doing little rounds, like twists, and that's how you get that full coverage. And let me get up here on my forehead and between the eyes. But if we fill our life with gratitude, every morning we wake up, and when we go to bed, we find something to be thankful for, and we, you know, keep a notebook or whatnot, or get a notebook that's about gratitude, a little booklet. And then you can write in there the things that you're grateful for. Matter of fact, I was blessed with a book by one of my my parents, and it was a book on gratitude. And every day is asking me, what am I grateful for today? And then it goes on to ask me something else, like what is a relationship that I treasure the most? Things like that. That's it. So it's 2 parts. Every day it has something else. So it's like keeping me humble and focused, and reminding me of that there is something good in each day. Even if you just say, I just woke up this morning. Well, guess what? Many people didn't. So if you were blessed enough to wake up and breathe the fresh air, then you are blessed. You are blessed. And you may not have gotten any like bonus pay, or maybe you got over a sickness. That's celebratory. Or maybe you had a relationship that it had to be reconciled, and it got reconciled. Well, there you go. Or maybe you're working towards reconciling that relationship. There you go. You know, there's so many things we can be grateful for. And like I said, even before it happens, you can still be thankful for it, and you can still thank God for it in the midst of it all. Just I'll tell you what, like this. There's another devotion that I read that also said to be thankful, not just be thankful in the moment, but to also seek God's will in the moment in which you're going through what you're going through. What is it that He's trying to tell you in that situation? What is it that He wants you to overcome in that time frame, right? So look for God's message through the messenger. And the messenger could be another person. It could be many persons. And it might even be just you. He might be giving you that soft whisper to tell you, what is it you need to do for you, right? So like I said, we cannot continue to be full of emotions and not really think things through wisely, because then we're always going to end up miserable. And if you're dealing with something now and you haven't taken back your control or your power, then that is your own freedom. That is your own freedom to do. Yes, we are hurt. Yes, we get hurt. Yes, people upset us. Yes, people disappoint us. But they're just that, people. They're not God. They're people. And someone's always going to disappoint us because they're in the flesh like we're in the flesh. Every day, like the word tells us also, we got to fight for our salvation with fear and trembling. If we're not doing that every day, like I said, dying to self every day and looking for ways to not just for ourselves, but who are we to bless in our day? Who are we to really, what's the word I'm looking for? Encourage, right? Or empower with whatever we're given in that day. If you haven't asked those questions before, maybe it's time we start asking, right? I'm going to put on my eyeliner, and I feel like I have a little bit of, in the inside, like it's cracked. So let me get that brush one more time and pat that down in this corner. A little better. A little better. Yeah, much better, I guess. So let's go ahead and draw the liner. The other day I drew a heart on my face. I drew an arrow on my face. Then I also did different eyeliner looks, wings and such, to show you how you can change the look of your eyes with just a simple eyeliner look. So I'm doing this here so you can see. And as we mature, it's a good practice to do little tick marks at a time. That way, for those of us that are getting older and up in age and have mature, creepy skin, that the product actually goes all the way through and even goes to the little cracks and crevices of our eyes. So now I'm going in a little bit underneath the eye. I didn't put anything further out here, but I am just going to do the eyeliner. I don't usually too many times put eyeliner under the eye. I'm mostly a over the eye eyeliner person. But when I put on my concealer on the bottom of my eye to give it a highlight, it's good to fill it in with something. Even if you want to give it a halo-y look, it's good to fill it in. And this eyeliner will set quickly, and it will not run or smear or smudge for the rest of the time that you're wearing it. So that's a good plus to this as well. So here comes the doggy. So I hope I finished my statement that I was saying, because sometimes I get to talking and I veer off to another part of the conversation, and then I forget what I was going to say or the point that I was trying to make. So if I miss something, just remind me in the comments. So like I said, we started off talking about taking back our power and taking responsibility for our own happiness, because we can't expect anybody, just like I can't expect my husband to make me happy. And that's something that I learned within the last few years. I can't expect him to make me happy. I have to know my own level of happiness and what makes me happy. Although I enjoy spending time with him and the kids and all, but sometimes they don't want to do anything. So am I going to sit around, mope, and wait on them? No, I'll go find me something to watch on TV. Or I might decide to go for a ride. Or I might decide to go to the store. Or I might decide to go visit a friend. Well, we could. Now it's not so much. Well, I have visited a friend from, here and there. But we can't expect them to be the ones to pull us out of our muck and mire every time, because they're dealing and battling with their own little struggles as well. And not to say that we can't help each other, because we definitely can come together in prayer, things like that, talk things through. But ultimately, like I was speaking of, if your parents were alcoholics, if your parents were abusers, if your parents, your partner was cheated on you, well, you cannot live your life expecting or thinking like every other person's going to cheat on you. You got to give each person their chance to prove themselves to you and trust, and you build that trust so that you can feel like you have a good relationship And you know, we all know those warning signs. We all know signs and things that how people behave, the things that people do that will remind us to let us know, hey, they're going towards this route, or they're going that route. And then what do you do with that information? You know, you're like me, you're going to seek, you go to Google and you Google search different things to see what is it that Google says about this topic or that topic, and look for reliable, credible sources that you're reading from. Call sources that are local, that have experience with certain things. It doesn't always mean you got to quit. It doesn't mean you have to let it go. It just means you got to figure out how to work with the person in the situation that you're in. And if it's something that you feel like you cannot forgive, then you have to make the adult decision to let it go, right? But a lot of times, people in marriages, people want to just give up and say, "Oh, I'm done." You know, when you took a vow, you took a vow, and say oath, but not oath. It's a vow. You took a vow. And sometimes, you know, if love is really your intent, if love was really there to begin with in the whole process of you coming together, then that love should carry you through, you know. And if it's not, because maybe you can't force somebody to stay, they don't want to stay. You know, if they want to go, you let them go, you know. And my mom always told me, don't stay where you're not wanted, you know. And when she told me that, she was talking about, like, friends and stuff like that, because, you know, sometimes, you know, people can be crude, you know, friends sometimes can be mean. So you're like, don't stay where you're not wanted, you know. So then that's the decision that you have to make, whether to stay in something that is miserable and awful and unforgivable, or you find ways to heal. And like I said, don't expect somebody else to make you happy, you know. And like I said, this guy, he was a SEAL, Navy SEAL. He was a Ranger. He was an Air Force tactical controller. I mean, but he had gone through some things in his life. He had some serious things he dealt with that caused him to not have that self-esteem, not have that not affirm himself to where he knew that he was worth it. You know, so here he is, down and out, got himself to weighing over, you know, 300 pounds. And for what? To deteriorate his own life, and while everybody else around him is living joyfully. And that's what I also told my kids when I said we're growing up. That's what I tell my students. You know, you're mad, you're upset, and sometimes other people don't even know that you're mad or upset with them, or they haven't recognized that they have upset you, they have offended you. But here you are, upset, mad, and stewing, and they're going on with their life. So when are you going to take control of your situation, of your life, and say, okay, you know what? You know, well, they're responsible for them. I'm responsible for me. What am I going to do about my own happiness? You know, and it might be tough. It may be hard. But even if you have to take it one step at a time, you know, maybe one class at a time, maybe read a book at a time, maybe a scripture a day, whatever it is, what are we doing? What are you going to do to bring yourself out of it, to pull yourself out of that muck and mire, right? So going in with the mascara, I'm liking how this little eye look is looking, because initially I wasn't even going to put this color on my eyes today. But I like that I did choose this. What do you think? And then for the lips, because it is summer, although we're going into fall here soon enough, but because it is summer, yeah, next month it's going to be fall already. We're still in summer, so we want to be bright. Oh, the light. Put the light back on. It's not letting me. There we go. Just a little brightness. I'm not going to dampen the look, or darken the look, I should say, by adding another darker color to my lips. I will put, could be a little pink, or it could just a gloss. A gloss is perfect for this little ensemble here. So look at this baby here, mascara with fiber lash fibers, and with the gel to lengthen and volumize your look, your lashes. And like for someone like myself, you see how I tip it to the point, and so that's to get any extra lashes that I didn't quite get when I first did it the other way, you know, like straight out. Now I can get any other little lashes that I missed by doing this little technique here. So if you appreciate what the conversation was about today, I'm going to ask you to drop some more hearts. If you did not like the conversation, or it angered you, or upset you some way, drop a mean face. I don't mind. It's a honest emotion. But remember, we're not going to let our emotions rule us, right? We're going to learn from our emotions, learn from our situation, and take control of our emotions. Take responsibility. Hey, Kathy, how are you? Welcome. We're going to take responsibility for our emotions and change the situation around us for ourselves, because we can only control us. We can control anything anyone else does. Oh, I forgot to put this on before I put on my eyelash mascara. So this is not waterproof, but it is water resistant. It's going to stay there the whole day. But once you spray it, of course, it's going to make it a little lessen the effect of it. So it's going to make it wet, and I don't want it to be wet, and then, you know, whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and spray it, and I'm going to put my lip gloss. So we do a T and an X for Texas. That's my friend here, Kathy. Matter of fact, she is the one that I heard say that. She said, yeah, we're going to do X and a T. And actually, it's on the instructions to do X and a T to cover the whole face. But she's like, yeah, X and T for Texas, because I'm from Texas. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I never thought about that. So that was Kathy, the one that's on right now. She's the one that said that. And that's where I got that from. So, oh, there goes my percentage again. It's letting me know that I have 10% left, but that's fine, because we are just about done. So, Kathy, how was your day today, and what do you plan on doing with your day today? So you may have to go back and watch the replay, Kathy, and if you do, please, anyone else that hears this as well, that's watching the replay, go ahead and drop a hashtag replay in the comments. I would appreciate it. I went with this pink. This is Spirit, I believe. Yep, this is Spirit. Has the little bling. Hey, thank you for that. Thank you, ladies. So just a little bit of a gloss to give it a little bit of shine. These have colors on them. So again, it's just a very light pink color, which is summertime colors. So it'll work just fine. So remember, fault and responsibility don't go together, because you can take control of and be responsible of actions people have taken against you, or the behaviors people have done around you. You can take responsibility for yourself and decide how you want to do things, how you want to change things up for yourself, for your children, for your grandchildren, or for just the world, right? To put a brighter perspective on the things in this world, because the world is already darkened enough with all the situations and circumstances that we're facing, but doesn't mean that we have to add to it, okay? How can we make it better? That's what I'll leave you with today. So in parting, and as always, know your worth, feel your worth, and embrace your worth, because you are worth it. And just what we talked about, it starts there. All right? So take care. God bless. Love you. Thank you so much for being here with me. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to follow if you're not following me. 3 dots up there. And I'll see you next time. God bless you. Love you. Mwah. God bless. Again, Nacha out.